morning. This lecture video is going to go over the anatomy involved in the female reproductive system. We're going to start with the external structures. The external female reproductive structures are referred to collectively as the vulva. The mons pubis is a pad of fat that's located at the anterior or over the pubic bone, so it would be up here. It's not labeled. After puberty, it actually becomes covered in pubic hair. The labia majora are folds of hair-covered skin that begin just posterior to the mons pubis. And the thinner, more pigmented labia minora extends medial to the labia majora. So that would be over in here. Although they naturally vary in shape and size from women to women, the labia minora serves to protect the female urethra and the entrance to the female reproductive tract. The superior anterior portion of the labia minora come together to encircle the clitoris or the glans clitoris, and this organ originates from the same cells as the glans penis in a male and has a lot of nerves, and it makes it very important in sexual sensation and in orgasm. And then sometimes a thin membrane partially covers the entrance to the vagina, which would be the hymen. Moving into the internal structures, we'll start with the vagina. This is a muscular canal. It's about 10 centimeters long that serves as the entrance to the reproductive tract. It also serves as the exit from the uterus during menstruation and during childbirth. The vagina is home to a normal population of microorganisms that help protect against infection by pathogenic bacteria, yeast, or other organisms that can actually enter into the vagina. So it plays an important role in keeping those things out. Sometimes the vaginal opening is surrounded by a mucous membrane called the hymen, which is just a small membrane that is sometimes present and then sometimes not. So oftentimes we think of the hymen being not present after sexual intercourse has occurred, but actually the hymen is never fully over the opening of the vagina because we need to have blood from menstruation to be able to come out, so it's always only partially open. Moving up, this is the cervix. The cervix is a narrow inferior portion of the uterus, which is going to be up here, that projects into the vagina. The cervix produces mucus secretions that become thin and stringy under the influence of estrogen concentrations, and these secretions can actually facilitate sperm movement through the reproductive tract. We go up the cervix into the uterus. This is a muscular organ that nourishes and supports the growing embryo. Its average size is about 5 centimeters wide and 7 meters long, so 2 inches by 3 inches roughly, when a female is not pregnant. It's got 3 sections. The portion of the uterus that is superior to the opening of the uterine tubes is called the fundus, so that would be this part up here. The middle section of the uterus is called the body, so that would be this part down here. And then obviously down here would be the cervix. Fallopian tubes are going to branch off, often called your uterine tubes. This is going to be a pathway for the egg to travel when it is released from the ovary, which is the egg producing organ right here. So ovary, fallopian tube, the fundus of the uterus, body of the uterus, cervix, vagina. Here's another diagram kind of showing you up close some of these. So again, the vagina, here's the cervix, here's the body of the uterus. The walls of the uterus are actually made of 3 different layers. There is the most superficial layer is the serous membrane or the perimetrium, which consists of epithelial cells that cover the exterior portions of the uterus. The middle layer, or the myometrium, is a thick layer of smooth muscle, and this is going to be responsible then for muscle contractions during childbirth. And then most of the uterus is myometrium actually, and then the last layer, or the innermost layer, is the endometrium. So that would be over here. And the endometrium contains connective tissue. It is made of 2 actual layers, the basal and the functional layer, and the functional layer is going to be the layer that actually gets thicker during the menstrual cycle, and then will slough off during menstruation. And we'll talk about that process in the next lecture video. So those are the basic structures of the human reproductive system. The next lecture video is going to look specifically at the ovaries and the ovarian cycle, as well as looking at the menstrual cycle.